Well, afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Driving Insights. And today I'm really keen to explore a little bit about our clients. And just from a individual running a business, think about how do we assess our most important clients? Are that our existing clients, those who've been with us for many years, our most loyal clients, or are those the new clients we're trying to seek and attract to an organization? We've been reflecting recently, just as we close out our last financial year and open up our new financial year, on a number of stats and a number of really important data points for us in the business. And as I've said through many of these series, we are a little bit obsessed with data, and assessing our clients is no different. But those conversations have really driven me to think about, well, how do we measure who's most important to us as a business? So if I look back and reflect on last year, 87% of our income was sourced from clients we had before we started that year, with 13% of our income coming from clients that we secured and started our engagement with within the last financial year. And actually, if I go further back, almost half of our revenue came with clients we've worked with for more than 6 years. And it really got me thinking with the team about how do we measure the efforts that we put towards our clients? Are we focused as an organization, and are we incentivizing our teams correctly to manage those clients who are most important? And what I'd really love today is individuals who are with us and joining us on this session to maybe drop in some comments as we go through this session today. I'm hoping we'll be here for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and really appreciate the time that people have taken out of their day today, or of those people watching us back to engage with the session. And as always, your feedback, your comments, your interaction through this series is greatly appreciated. So what I really wanted to start by talking about, and please do put those comments through if you're with us live, is how you assess the importance of a client. And I'm not sure we have that right all of the time. And I'm really keen to explore maybe some organizations and some different people of how they do that differently to how we look at things in Agena. So I think let's go through what we think could be those areas of how we assess client importance. A very obvious one for us, and as I've already quoted, a measure that we look at is what proportion of our revenue comes from those clients. So revenue being our first measure of importance. Secondly, a measure of margin. Based on the commercial deals, the interactions, the size of the portfolio, obviously clients will deliver in every business different levels of margin. So maybe we should measure client importance based on margin, bottom line profitability of our organization. Also, in some areas, we'll measure importance through that opportunity for more growth. What share of that client's portfolio are we providing services to? And what's our opportunity to grow and deliver more services with that client and take a greater share of that wallet and that spend from that client? And again, I think that's a really important area for measurement, potentially harder to measure. And how do we truly measure the potential opportunity a client gives us? One real interesting area for us of measurement is loyalty, or period of engagement and contract historically. How long has our business delivered services to that organization over time? And what's the profile of that relationship look like from some of those measures we talked about before, from a revenue and a margin point of view? And have we delivered growth, or have we seen a decline with that client? Also, a really important consideration, I think, for all businesses is brand association and referenceability. So by working with this particular client and this particular brand, how does that represent us in the wider market? How will other people perceive us if we're working with that very well-known brand? And does that create real referenceability when we're securing new business? And how important is that brand association and referenceability when we look to grow our organizations and deliver revenue from other clients? Some areas which maybe are more tenuous to measure and maybe not everyone considers, but for me are incredibly powerful. So one is cultural fit. How well do our people between our own organization and our client's business get on? Can we see some real commonality in the ethos of those business, the values for which we stand for, and the way that we run our organizations. And I can think of a number of clients where we have a really, really strong cultural fit. And actually, it's just a pleasure to do business with those clients. They may not be our biggest from a revenue or a margin perspective. They certainly give us great brand association and referenceability. But actually, what works the best for us is just how the teams connect and work together. And that takes me to my final point, which is around common goals and ambition. Maybe our most important clients are those who are working on the same outcomes as ourselves, working in true partnership to deliver against the same outcome, driven by the same objectives, with really well-connected individuals working together, and almost feeling like an extension of our teams. So for me, that covers the 6 or 7 areas which we like to measure, and I like to measure client importance. But what I've been reflecting on recently is how well do we actually deliver against those 7 measures of importance? And actually, is all of our energy and effort being put into the right places? I think for me, what's interesting, and if I review how we manage our client base, how we interact with our clients, we will have a lot of interaction with a number of our clients where we have potentially lots of inbound questions from our clients, lots of interaction, lots of potential growth opportunities. Those clients tend to be the ones we're most active with. Maybe some of our clients where we're delivering a service which doesn't need that regular contact. We don't have that level of inbound activity. And maybe there isn't a massive growth opportunity for them. And maybe they're a little bit quieter from an account management activity perspective. Does that make those clients less important? Are we putting our focus into those clients which has the absolute best value for our organization? And we've been reflecting recently on how we measure and how we monitor that interaction with our clients. For me, I think there's more we can do. I think it's easy as an organization, and when you're driving a business in a growth phase, to focus on clients which can give you the best revenue growth and certainly give you the best addition to your margin. And I think maybe that leaves us running short of where we should be. Maybe not thinking big enough as an organization, and maybe too focused on the short-term benefits of those clients. And I've done some hard reflection as we move into our new financial year about, are we motivating our own teams and our own client-facing part of our business, and are our incentives built and structured in the right way to retain and protect those clients who've been loyal to the business, who we've served so well for so long, and from those earlier stats actually make up the core foundations of our business. And that's an area, having reflected on, I do feel there's more we can do as an organization. I think the temptation for lots of organizations when we're in a growth phase is to seek out that next new client, that next big framework deal which opens up a new sector for growth and opportunity, and to look at how we can find new opportunities with our existing clients, and almost create a bit of an imbalance about growing the business rather than protecting what we have. And on reflection for us, I really want to address and correct some of that balance. And I'd love to hear from people engaging with this series, and particularly engaging with today. How are you measuring that balance between protecting what you have and growing with new and existing clients? And how are you managing that within your organizations and your teams? And I'd love to follow up some conversations with some other business leaders about their thoughts around that balance between protecting existing and driving new. I guess on reflection of everything I've been looking at recently, and this has been very topical for us as we've entered a new financial year, and we look at revenue growth, we look at new accounts growth, we look at new sectors that we're looking to move into and adopt, and how do we build reputation and brand recognition in new markets. But actually what struck me was the most important thing we need to do this year is protect and serve the clients well that we've had as part of our core business for some time. For me, and I go back through those categories of revenue, margin, loyalty, actually, I don't think there's one measure which stands out for me. I think a combination of all of those measures I talked about earlier is how we should look at our clients. For me, and looking back in previous roles in other businesses, we've had clients with significant revenue and margin opportunities for our business, but maybe we've been disconnected on our cultural engagement. Maybe we've not had a common goal. And those relationships have been fractious at times. They've been difficult to manage. And you almost feel like you're running against what your client's trying to achieve. I think for me, it's time as business owners and people who are in client-facing roles to really think about how do we deliver a service which is a true extension of what our client's business is there to do. Are our teams intimate enough with our client's business to understand their outcomes, to almost talk like an employee of that business about what they want to achieve, and to find the place there where we can really support and underpin that service? For me, within our organization, our account teams, our account managers, our sales support functions, our salespeople need to be the voice of our customer internally. And to do that, I feel we need to be more intimate with our clients in understanding their drivers, understanding their pain points, understanding what's really and truly important to them. And I'd love to hear from people today, how do you do that within your business? How do you move out of this transactional relationship of being a service provider to your client to be an extension of the objectives and outcomes they're trying to achieve? And what's really worked well for you, and how have you delivered against that? And I'd really welcome some guidance, some thoughts, some expertise from outside our business to help us on that journey. I think looking back historically, there's a real chase about new business, and there's a real excitement of winning new business and winning a new deal. For me, that should never be at a cost of looking after those clients who you've worked with before. I'd encourage anybody in a client-facing role to think about when was the last time you spoke to your most important clients, and maybe use those categories I mentioned earlier to assess who is your most important client. At times, our engagement with clients can be driven by issues and opportunities, but rarely just engagement to check how our clients are doing, to validate our service is still delivering against the objectives we set out to achieve, to ask what else we can do. What is changing within their business? There were some really great examples during COVID, which for many businesses was an incredibly challenging time, where a couple of individuals with our team, and one individual in particular stood out, who spent their time just phoning our clients to check in, to see how they were tackling that period of COVID, to see if there's anything we could do, but actually, most importantly, connecting on an individual basis just to see how that person was feeling and coping during those difficult times. And COVID clearly for all of us was a very different and difficult period of time to work through. But I think those examples given to me by some of our team of that personal connection with our clients should not just be a period we go through in difficult times like COVID, should be something we adopt full time within our business and be much more personal to our clients. We're a growing organization. We absolutely over time feel those growing pains as you look to scale your business, recruit more people, take in more clients. Focusing on the quality that you deliver to your existing clients is so important. And I want to reflect again against my opening point of how do we assess the most important aspects of our business and who is our most important client? And let's just run through those categories again. So the first one being revenue, very straightforward calculation. Most businesses can calculate proportion of revenue by client. And I think for everyone joining us today, I'm sure you have a really good handle on revenue. But let's not see these categories as either ors or exclusive to each other. Let's see if we can build an assessment of a client across all categories. So moving on to the second one of margin. Many organizations will measure clients at a gross margin and a net margin level. And I think both of those factors are important. Some clients will take more cost to serve those clients than others. But making sure you have consistent, repeatable ways of measuring revenue and margin for me is a very important part of understanding the importance of your client base. Opportunity for growth. Now, I'm an absolute believer that some of this conversation can be delivered through research, through understanding a client's business, but the only way truly to understand the ambition of your client is through dialogue, through conversation, and through intimacy. And I would ask everyone today who works in a client relationship or client management role, how well can you answer that question about what is your client's ambition and what is the role that you can play and help support that ambition? And if you truly understand that, how are you executing and delivering against that? Lots of us will build account plans to answer these questions. For us, account plans are an integral part of how we look after our clients, but how much do they actually drive the day-to-day conversation we have with our clients? How current are they? How much have we updated and reflected how we look after that client through our account plan? And again, I'd ask everyone to reflect on, are those documents truly driving action and behavior, or are they just a reflection of the research we last did? The next point I'd go to is loyalty or length of engagement. For me, the clients who've worked with us the longest know us the best. As we go through change, as we grow, as we diversify our products and our offerings, how often have we gone back to those existing clients to share the journey we're on? For me, it's very similar to when we're bringing new employees into an organization. And everyone will focus really hard on making sure our induction programs and those early stages of employment are the best experience our new starters can have. But how many of our existing people never had that same induction process? How many of your existing employees don't know what you're telling your new starters? And for me, the management of employees, the consistent updating, progressing of how the business is developing and what's changing is exactly the attitude we should take to managing our clients. So again, I'd pose a question. Have all of your clients been through the story you've told to your new prospects? The new products you have for sale, maybe the change in the commercial offerings that we do, the extension in services that you can now provide to your clients. That great story and that great pitch you've put into a latest bid or into a latest proposition to a client. How many of your existing clients have you told the same story to? And I'd really encourage people to think hard about which of your current clients is missing out on that new story. The next area is around brand association referenceability. The best salespeople for us are our clients we serve, who are prepared to talk about and shout about the quality of what we deliver as a service. And also do never underestimate the association you can have with another brand and the value that can bring from a new business perspective. We feel incredibly privileged and proud to work with some of our clients for what they stand for, the brand and the presence that they have, particularly in the UK market. And to be part of their service delivery and to play a part in the outcomes that they're delivering for us is something we should never take for granted. As I say, we feel incredibly privileged to work with some of our clients, and that gives us great opportunity for growth in other sectors where we can use that referenceability. The last points I'll come to are cultural fit and objectives. And for me, across many organizations, I feel this has been the least important aspect to measure client importance. There are a number of clients we work with, and I have some very strong personal relationships with a number of our clients. And for me, those are so important. To have a common goal and a common understanding with our teams working together as one against those outcomes is so important. It's so rewarding as a business leader to see that when that happens. And I think it's so important where we can connect our service directly to our clients' outcomes. We're not creating friction. We're not causing our clients issues with the services that we're delivering. We're not holding them back in what they're trying to achieve. We're underpinning and supporting the delivery of their service to their clients. And for me, those relationships are some of the most important. Arguably, some of those relationships might mean more than brand association or referenceability or opportunity for growth, because they're creating an environment where we can be successful together. So that covers all of those topics for today. What I was really keen to explore and share was how we assess the importance of a client relationship, how we measure that balance between new and existing, and some of the categories of measurement that we will go through. Reflecting on our planning for the coming year and reflecting back on that very question we asked ourselves, I absolutely think there's more that we can do ourselves. And for any of our existing clients, we'd love some feedback about maybe some areas you feel we need to give more attention. For other people in other businesses, maybe business leaders or people running relationships with clients, what other areas are you assessing client importance that we've not covered today? And through this series of Driving Insights, this is about sharing how I see our business, how I brought my historical experience into the role that I do today. But I'm always keen to learn. We're only as good as the experiences and the coaching and guidance that we've had before. And I'm always open to feedback. I'm always open to ideas and input from other people. And I really have loved through this entire series we've gone through, looking at how other people have perceived some of the content that we've delivered through this series. So please do keep that coming. Please do share your comments against this event today. For me, the more we can all share, the better we can all improve our business and the overall service delivery we can to our clients. So hopefully today has made you maybe think about a couple of areas which haven't been assessed. As I say, keep sharing your thoughts through the comments on this post. We will now be back onto a regular rhythm of our LinkedIn live sessions. I will be doing another session under the banner of Driving Insights 2 weeks today, and you'll see that event posted very shortly. What we'll start to move towards, and I posted a piece of content a few weeks ago, which was from behind the camera. And what I really want to start to engage as we develop this theory of using data and insights to run our business is actually a little bit more thought process from someone running an organization and broadening the content we're sharing through this series to what happens behind the camera. What I absolutely loved on that post, and it was one of my most favorite posts on LinkedIn for a while, that's something that I've posted, was people sharing what they usually hide. We all perfect our backgrounds in this virtual world that we now live. We perfectly position individual items, as you can see behind me, which for me have personal reference and can generate conversations. What you can't see is what's behind the camera. What you can't see is what I'm not showing. And what I loved is how many people engaged in that post, in what they see every day sat behind the camera. And I'd really love to see that same engagement on today's LinkedIn Live and sharing some content about how you measure customer importance. So we'll bring this to a close now. I really appreciate the time that people give up to watching me on this LinkedIn Live. I particularly love the feedback that I get, both through LinkedIn and both personally and direct. That does motivate me to want to do more. This is not naturally a place I feel comfortable, but the feedback is really something that's motivated me to continue. So thanks again for your time today. For those people watching back, I appreciate you re-watching this episode, and I look forward to sharing some more content in 2 weeks' time. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week.